When we take a second to pause, to look inward or intentionally look at ourselves, a question that often comes up is, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I even meant to do with my life? A capitalist society tells us our career is our purpose and that our worth is determined by how much money we make. But when you really check in with yourself, is your self-worth really dependent on your 9-to-5? Is that all you're bringing to the table? Is that what your purpose is on this planet? Maybe it is. I'm not saying it's not. Woo-woo will give you lots of options to help you figure out your purpose. You could get really comfortable sitting in meditation. You could look up your human design chart. You could go on an ayahuasca journey. All three of those things resonated for me, but if they don't for you, one option could be a coach, someone to hold you accountable to be you. What do you want? What do you really want to be spending your time doing? What do you really want to be doing in your career? If you're feeling stuck or stagnant or burnout or uninspired, how can you re-energize so that your day-to-day feels more fulfilling? Alana Cummings is a former corporate exec turned transformational coach. She does this work for high-achieving professionals who feel burnout, who feel stuck or unfulfilled. And she is a total badass. She's helping people reignite their purpose, rebuild their self-worth, and create a life that feels deeply aligned and meaningful. Sign me up and settle in, because if you're feeling any sort of stuck in your career or otherwise, Alana gives us some tips and tricks in this episode that will kickstart your alignment. Hi, I'm Laura Scarpati, filmmaker and woo-woo enthusiast. Here today to cut through the noise, pull back the veil, and cozy up in the space between reality and spirituality. Thanks for listening to The Woo Report. Alana Cummings, welcome to The Woo Report.
Thank you, boo, my new boo.
I'm literally obsessed immediately. Thank you so much for coming to my home.
You're so sweet.
And I'm so happy to have you. You are a motivational speaker. You are a coach.
Yes.
And this is a new career for you, but you started in the fashion world. Mm-hmm. And I love this about you. And I really want to start there because I think fashion world and production is like this same kind, there's a glamour around it. And talk to me a little bit about why you wanted to work in fashion and then what happened.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. We share energy and I get it. So fashion was something that I was like, okay, if I have to choose something to study that I like, let's choose that, right? And most of us were 16, 17 when we have to make this decision. So I got an internship at Steve Madden and I ended up getting a full-time job there. And listen, I thought that was what everybody went through in terms of a burnt out version of yourself, really having to work so hard, being treated unkindly. I would say it was definitely a toxic culture, but that was all I knew. So I thought that this is just what you have to go through. And then you do it till you're 65, 70, and then you retire. And, listen, I made a lot of great friends, but the hustle really wore me down. So after 5 years in New York City, I was like craving a slower lifestyle. And Rochester is such a great home, which is a mix of like city life, but also slower life. There's no fashion in Rochester, so bye-bye degree. And I was like trying to get the first job I could find. So it was a couple tech companies. A few years later, after I had gotten home, I landed an HR tech job. So it was all about employee engagement. And what drew me to it, and what I think should draw everyone to their career, is having your personal values be matched with the company values, right? We always talk about company values, loyalty, integrity, be human. But what are your own personal ones? And do they match this company that you're applying to? So it was the first time that I felt very aligned in a corporate setting. So I was like, great, now I found my thing and I'll be in this corporate path forever and retire. But it's going to be really hard and I have to work really hard and I need a new title and I need to make sure I get promotions. So that was starting to wear on me again after another 5 or so years. And that's when I was like, okay, let me try one more corporate job to make sure it's the whole corporate thing in general for me that isn't working. And I applied somewhere else, and it took 6 or 7 interviews to get this job, and I finally got it. They didn't know me from a hole in the wall. It was like a LinkedIn application, and I got it. And month 1, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just still new. I don't love it. Did I make the wrong decision? Month 2, month 3, month 4, my mom gets diagnosed with breast cancer. And why does it take a big, scary health experience or traumatic experience to make you finally wake up and say, I literally was like, what do I want to do with this one life I have? Because I'm making money, I have a title, but that's not my identity. That's not what I want to do with this life. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but I knew it wasn't this. And I remember being in the kitchen with my mom and my aunt before her surgery, and she was like, you should just quit. And I was almost like, you grant me the permission to quit? Like, can I grant myself the permission to quit? I'm a mid-30s adult. I guess I can. But I never really gave myself permission to even think about that. So I did. I quit after 5 months, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Oh, my gosh. And then you fully rebranded.
Fully. Like, did not have a personal brand. No one knew me, no one knew Super Bloom. So that's when I had been working with a career coach at the end of my kind of corporate life. And I realized I loved what she was doing, and I loved what was awakening in me with working with this coach. And, you know, we talk about career coach, you know, you may think resume and recruiting and helping you find a job. No, for me, it's more uncovering who you really are and what you really want, because rarely do we pause in this lifetime and say, you know what, hold on a minute, I'm going to take some time and figure out, what do I really want to do? What do I want to be remembered for? And she did an exercise with me that I now do with my clients around bringing you to your own 90th birthday party. It's a visualization meditation, and you go in and you're there and you see the people around you, and they're handing you notes of what they're thanking you for and how are you being and how are you remembered. And for most people, it's not, oh, how much money did you make? Did you end up getting that promotion? You know, it's about, were you a good mom? Did you have time with your family? Were you deeply present with the frickin' Wegmans cashier, right? Were you a good person? So that really woke me up. And that's when I started to say, I want to do what she's doing, because I know I have a gift to help people find their purpose. And that's when I decided I'm going to do the training and certifications and become a coach myself.
So she has you start doing this meditation visualization, which I love, by the way. Like, look, give me 20 minutes. I'm going to go. I'll be right back. Were you into meditation before that?
I was so open to it, but I didn't know enough about it. But my mom and stepdad are both psychotherapists, and they own a nonprofit meditation center. So I had probably in my teenage years started growing up a little bit knowing about it. This was kind of definitely before it got big. And I grew up with a lot of anxiety. So my mom always helped me with techniques, more of like breath work. And I guess it was meditation, but maybe when I was younger, I didn't really know what it was. I just knew it was helping me be more calm and grounded. So yes, I was open to it. And now I am just fully like immersing myself in all of the things. And I've recently gotten into learning more about Kabbalah and like the receiving, like just in the last probably 6 months, I would say. And I'm like, we're all saying the same thing.
Totally.
Right? We are one. We are here for wholeness, less separate, right? And then you can live a life with more ease, with more joy and more play, because you know you're good.
It's so interesting because when you think about someone's career, it feels very separate. It's like, it's your career. And there's so much that goes along with a career, especially in society, in a capitalistic society. What are you doing? What are you working? How much money are you making? I'll speak for myself in my 20s. My whole identity, my whole version of self-worth was wrapped up in my career. What show was I working on? What was my role at the show? Was I a producer? Was I a senior producer? Was I a supervising producer? And what did that mean? And then who was I in charge of? And like, what did that say about me and who I was?
So true.
As like a millennial growing up in the 90s, there's a track. You're going to go to college, you are going to get a job, and then like you said, you're going to have that job forever. Or like you're going to work your way up into your career and figure out something that you're going to make a lot of money, and then you're going to retire, and then it's all over. It's like this one track.
One track.
That's it.
One similar track. And you're so right, because the first question we ask people in American culture is, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And right away we are, without even knowing it, we're judging them. We have biases coming in based on what they do. Whereas if we asked someone, do you feel fulfilled in life? How fulfilled are you in your life right now? I always say, how deeper would our connections be? How much richer would that all feel, that conversation? But we just revert to, what do you do?
Totally. It's because most people in this country spend the majority of their time doing their job.
Yep, you spend so much of your life at work.
Yeah.
And what made me want to get into this was because I was one of you. I was burnt out. I was stuck. I was lost.
Yeah.
And I was craving for something. And there's a stat around, I think 75% of people feel that they are burnt out at work. That's insane. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to quit their job and like become an entrepreneur, but how can you be happy and fulfilled with where you are? And that's what I can help with. And also, if you want to make a big move and transition, we could do that too.
Mostly people come to you because they're having trouble in their career. Or
Uncertainty.
In life.
Uncertainty, lost.
Because when I think about, ways that you are not living in your career path or people are unhappy, I think about 3 different ways. You're burnout, you're stagnant, or you're repeating these patterns. So of those 3 things, like let's start with burnout. Somebody comes to you, they're like, oh, I'm so burnt out. What is the first thing that you say to them?
I think we find out what's burning them out, right? What burns you out and what burns me out are 2 completely different things. So first it's naming it and understanding, are they really burnt out in their career, or is their life at home so chaotic that they can't focus at work and then they're not productive and they're getting yelled at by their boss, right? Like there's so much to unpack to understand, are you burnt out? And also, how can I really diagnose that? They will tell me their symptoms, right? A lot of it comes through our body, and our body is always talking to us, right? So I always say, people tend to think, from the neck up, but there is so much information stored from the neck down. So I help us get into that. Where are you feeling this when this happens at work, right? And I think the other main point for burnout is setting boundaries. I mean, very simple fixes of, is your boss making you stay on till 8 p.m. or are you putting that on yourself because you don't believe your work is good enough, or you don't believe that you think you'll get fired if you don't? I mean, so setting boundaries right away can help people. Hey, I'm closing my laptop at 5, Monday through Friday. Wow, a difference. And I think just talking about that, this is, unless you are an ER doctor, right? Like most of it, we're not saving lives. But in corporate, as you know, it does feel like everything's urgent, and it does feel like you are saving lives. But just helping them really sink into that. So
I love that. And then the second group, people who are stagnant.
Yeah.
They just they're not motivated. They're not happy. They don't know how to switch things up.
So this is a big one. I think when you don't feel like you can grow within a company or within your own personal growth, right, you're going to feel stagnant. You're going to feel stuck. So a lot of the getting out of stuckness is changing your perspective, or physically leaving the job, or applying for a promotion and some more tactical things. But changing your perspective is a lot around reframing and trying on new perspectives and seeing which one fits. So.
I imagine there's lots of excuses here. Like, well, I can't quit my job. I need the money. I need the paycheck. The fear of the unknown of leaving. Like people don't want to just leave.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
It's a tough job market out there.
Totally. It is very scary. And that's why I say it's like, I don't want everyone to be me. Like what I did was right for me. And what's so cool about this process of coaching is it's similar to therapy, right? Therapy, we're a little bit more going back into the past and healing past trauma. Coaching is your present self and your future self. Of course, past stuff comes up. Of course, childhood stuff comes up. But it's uncovering those beliefs that limit us, the old conditioning, the old programming of what your parents taught you or what you learned in society. And it's a lot of unlearning in coaching. So I may not be teaching you new things, but you are unlearning things that no longer serve you. And to me, that is spiritual.
For sure.
That's an awakening in and of itself, saying I'm done with that belief and I'm no longer choosing to use it.
And there's so much from our childhood and just conditioning from our parents or from the media. I had this realization during the elections, the recent elections, where a lot came up and I was triggered by a lot of things during that. But I realized that early on in LA, someone was up for a job. There was a man and a woman up for a job. It wasn't me. It was a friend. And the man got the job. And I remember thinking, well, men are smarter than women.
Ooh.
My dad told me that he loved me all the time. He told me I could do anything and I could be the president and I could do whatever I wanted. Like I didn't grow up in a household where I thought that women were less than. However, whatever I was absorbing made me think that. And I was like, whoa, that is a deep belief that I need to get rid of.
Yes.
And it's like, but when you watch old 90s sitcoms, for example, there's a lot of messaging in those that are just women are like the butt of the joke.
Yep. Or stay at home or you're so right. And I wonder, we'll have to do some research for how Gen Z grows up and then Alpha, right? Because I feel like they have such a sense of more confidence than maybe we did. And you're right. It probably is the 90s as we grew up and saw simple things.
Yeah. Home improvement. I'm just like,
literally,
saying,
literally. And it was on in the background. And people say, I didn't watch that. Or I didn't. It was going on without you even knowing. Your 12-year-old self was building neural pathways and you are holding on to it. The same thing with money, right? Like our parents, I had a great childhood, but they said things about money that I overheard or subconsciously picked up, right? Like you have to work very hard to make a lot of money. And I just told you before we started, I want to change that belief. I don't believe that you have to work 80 hours a week and grind and you got to do this to have a happy, healthy, successful life. And your point about the job interview, there's a statistic around how women feel if there's a job posting, women feel that they need to exceed 100% of the expectations and the duties and requirements in order to even apply for the job. Men, it's something around if they qualify for about 50 to 60% of the duties and requirements, they will apply. So we don't even put ourselves in the game from the start when we are probably overqualified. So please go apply for the job.
We're applying
You're
for
qualified.
the job. We're applying for the job.
Yeah.
Okay, the third piece was repeating job patterns. And I have a case study for you on this.
Okay, love it. Challenge.
Okay, so I have a friend. She has been in production for a long time. She's extremely successful. She's very good at her job. She did some creative stuff early on, but mostly she's in logistics of production. Okay. And she is constantly getting job after job after job that she has these high-powered, big titles, but she's feeling unfulfilled in that she wants to be more creative. And she offers a lot of creativity. And I know her. She's brilliantly creative. However, she's not getting seen for being that way. And this has happened now in the past, I want to say 5 or 6 jobs that she's had over a decade worth.
So she is is creative, wants to be creative, but is in roles that are not creative?
Correct. It's like logistics, like planning the shoot, overseeing the shoot, hiring the crew.
Okay.
Not necessarily pitching the creative vision or overseeing the creative vision. However, she will be in meetings and pitch ideas that will be then used, but she won't be attached to them because her role is logistics.
Okay. So why is she not applying for a creative role?
Yeah.
And it's like there's some sort of block, it sounds like.
Totally.
Where she is comfortable with the logistic role in this title because she knows it's familiar, right? We will always be on autopilot choosing the familiar and comfortable over the thing that we really want and that lights us up. So that's a mindset block, I would say.
Yes.
Are creative roles looked down upon versus the logistic roles?
In my experience, creative roles are coveted. And they are like, the creative team, especially, at Ellen, the creative team, like we get to make we make most of the decisions. Yeah. Logistics teams need to like figure out how to make the creative vision work.
Oh, well then that makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
because to me that is believing you're worthy of the creative role. And where in her life was she told that the creative role can't be hers or other people can have it, but you're not at that level, right? And that would be the limiting belief that we would want to clear.
Yeah. And she wanted to sing when she was little and her sister had a better voice and she was totally told that.
Yeah. That's hard.
I know.
That's hard. My brother was, he's in theater in New York City. He's a director. And, but he was always smarter than perfect SAT scores. And it was just something that, again, parents don't try to put that on you, but you pick it up. You pick it up as a child.
My kids are feeling like they're always compared.
Yeah.
I'll say like, I love you, you're the best. And I'll hear Wes from the other room being like, am I not the best? And I'm like, no, you guys are both the best. We love you, both of you the same. But like they're comparing, to each other as siblings all the time.
I heard this quote and it so hits me and probably a lot of people that comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so true. You could be in your own little bubble and be so happy and so proud of yourself and celebrating. And then you see something or someone who's that step above you and you're like, oh, depleted. It's like stay in your bubble because that's just going to steal the joy.
It's so interesting because I just started this program. Have you heard about To Be Magnetic?
No, but I love it.
Okay. Well, in it, there is a concept called expanders. So your expanders are people who maybe you would compare yourself to them. Maybe they're doing the same thing that you're doing. Maybe they're doing a little bit better than you're doing. Maybe they're getting the accolades that you want or whatever. But instead of comparing them and making yourself less than, you are saying, oh, wait, I'm not, if that person can do it, then so can I. And using them as a way to expand yourself.
I love it.
Isn't that great?
That's a great reframe.
Yes.
Right? Everything can be reframed. And a little changes, again, if you're in a career that you aren't happy with, how can we reframe it and bring happiness to where we are now? Because sometimes we can't make a big change.
Right.
That's a great perspective.
So people will come to you and say, I'm unhappy in my career because of X, Y, and Z. But it ends up being more than just their career.
Spot on. And I think about me. I went to a career coach.
Yes.
And so much, my life changed. I transformed. Yes, because you can come for career, but listen, what gets woven in is your finances, your health, your marriage, your social life, right? Because it's all connected. It really is. Yes, we spend a lot of our time at work. But very rarely is it specifically just career. And that's when I ask a lot of powerful questions to uncover specifically, right? Because it's not enough for you to say you're unhappy with your career. Well, what does unhappy mean to you? So what does make you happy? What does light you up? There's got to be why did you take that job in the first place? I mean, there's so many questions that I can ask to kind of get to the root. And one of my clients had a big aha moment. And that is when I just like totally, because sometimes I don't, I'm not I don't know what they're going to come to me with.
Sure.
So I got to be ready. And I always say, you dance in the moment. You kind of just dance in the moment and you stay present in your second and third level listening. Because rarely are we deeply, like I feel like we're deeply listening to each other. But when you're social, you know, out with your friends, you're kind of, you're there, but
looking
also
around
like,
the room.
yeah, are your kids good at home? What time do I need to be home? Is
Right.
dinner ready? You know. So it's staying in it with them. But my one client had just an aha moment at thinking that it was the career. And it was the career, but it was more of not feeling valued in work and in relationships that helped her kind of make the switch. She was dancing with leaving, but is she going to stay? Is she going to leave? Is it safe? Right. And then once she understood that, oh yeah, they don't at all value me, I don't feel at all appreciated, I'm good to go. I'm good to apply. It's almost like you have to, again, let go, unlearn things before you're ready to make the move.
And then does a lot of that look at where is your own self-worth in all of this?
Totally. I always say career coaching is like the statement, right? The pitch. It's like, hi, I'm a career coach. But self-worth is the process that we uncover through it. First of all, the creator, God, the universe, wants you to live a joyful, incredible, juicy life. That is our birthright, period. Okay? So when you understand that, and when you understand that you get to do that by being your authentic self, you don't have to do it by being fake. You don't have to do it by being someone else and comparing, right? Then you almost like free yourself, and it's so liberating because you get to now dance through life and say, I will claim all the things because that's what God wants for me and wants it for you. And am I a good steward with my money? And am I friendly to, you know, the person when I'm walking outside? I mean, your life just becomes so much more playful and light, and that's really what we're here for. It's very simple.
I love all that so much. Let's get into your spirituality.
Yeah.
And I know when you emailed me, you talked about a few crack open moments that you had. Do you feel like, well, first I'm going to ask you what they are, but then second, I wonder if that is what cracked you open to spirituality, or was it something else, or was it more gradual?
So the first crack open moment, and I love that term that you're using. I mean, it can be viewed a couple different ways, but I think it's a beautiful term.
Thank you.
The first one was when I was 6 years old. So I'm one of three, the youngest of three. And my brother decided he wanted to make a snow angel for my sister and I. And we were in ice skating lessons with our dad, and my brother was home alone. He's 8 years older than me. And he wanted to make this snow angel so realistic that he didn't want to leave footprints in the snow so he could surprise his sisters and see probably joy on our faces. And he decided that he would jump off the back deck thinking that the snow would cushion his landing. Because I think as kids, you kind of think snow is fluffy and like,
For sure.
right, like bouncy. And we got home from ice skating and felt just like a big draft in the house. Obviously, it was very snowy outside. And we saw Evan face down in the snow, not moving. And I mean, I was 6. I was in first grade. And I just remember like my dad being like, call 911. And my mom was at work. And we like got the house phone. And that's really where it stops for me, the actual memory. But therapy, many years of therapy have helped me fill in the blanks, even if it's not really what happened, just to continue the story and to process it. He is paralyzed from the shoulders down, but he is doing well. He lives in New York City. He has a power wheelchair, is a director of theater, and he's just the most incredible soul. So yes, how could that not bring you closer to a higher power? Because you shouldn't be alive, as you know so well. So that was one moment that definitely, changed my life.
Wow, that is so wild. I mean, how did your family right after that make sense of it?
It's a great question. We grew up Catholic, but I think as most people do, you just keep going. You keep going. You keep going. We had to move to Atlanta as a whole family for several months for a rehab center. There's a spinal cord rehab center there. And my mom was so good at just keeping things fun. I don't know how. Like, we thought we were going on vacation as little girls to Atlanta. Meanwhile, and then we would visit my brother at night in the hospital with tubes and cords and everything, right? And that just became the way of my life, was really to put a smile on and keep going, and put a smile on and keep going. And then you kind of realize, like, that's also not a great way to live either, because you're hiding your true feelings and emotions. And, you know, I felt that I couldn't ask for things from my parents because, oh my God, my brother can't walk. So if I scrape my knee, I better just get on with it. Right. So I have unpacked that through years of therapy, but I realized that through that, I had a lot of anxiety, and I never spoke up for what I needed or wanted. And now I'm in a position where I'm empowered to speak up, and I want to empower others to use their voice, whether they went through something traumatic or not.
Wow. What's your brother's name?
Evan.
So how did Evan do that? I mean, how old was he at the time?
He was 12 or 13. Yeah.
So he just kept on.
He just kept on. Yeah.
Kids are so resilient.
So
too.
resilient. And now he's at a point, he's over 40.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole life, more of his life has been in a wheelchair versus walking, right? So you adapt. And New York has been such an amazing place for him, because he has way more freedom in New York to get on the train and do this and do that versus being here.
Totally.
So that's his home, which is amazing.
Wow.
And I got to be with him when I was in school and working there, and have a
that's so
sense of
cool.
family.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was one. And then the other main one, soon after I moved back to Rochester from New York, I was dating my college boyfriend again, and he proposed. And, you know, again, you think, great, this will just be my life. I'll get married. I'll keep this job, right? Rinse, repeat. And soon after I got married, I got divorced. So within a year that I was married, I was divorced. So I was married for less than a year. And that was giving myself permission to have self-love. Like, it was the first time that I really, again, it was the question, what do I want for my life? And it's not selfish, it's self-honoring, because this isn't it. And I have to ignore what the external people are going to think and how embarrassing it is and what people are going to say, because it's my life. And I know what brings me joy, and that wasn't it. And you wish them well and everything, but sometimes you just have to follow the path of self-love, and better things can come along.
It's a big move.
Yeah.
What made you be able to say, oh, okay, it's okay to leave? Like, I'm going to leave.
Well, one, I had incredible support. I do think you need support around you. But it was a God whisper. It was an inner knowing where the whisper becomes too loud to ignore. And you're like, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's almost like you have this like 2.0 version of you on your shoulder, and you know what to do, but it's so hard. And you think, how will this unravel your life? But you know that if you do get to the other side, it's going to be brighter. And I read this book. It was it's weird. Again, these nudges or synchronicities, right? I was traveling for work a lot during that time, and I kept coming across these books in the airport, and the book was Everything is Figure-Outable by Marie Forleo. And I read it, and it was mostly about business, like kind of starting a business, but how everything in life is figure-outable. And she had all these tactical things of like lists of like, what would your life look like if you stay? What would your life look like if you leave, right? And I had so many more beneficial things that if I left, the right decisions are rarely easy at first. They're hard, but you have to be able to see the certainty and the beauty in it at the finish line. So, and really in the journey. So.
Ooh, I love that. I love this. I love this for you. It's so good.
Thanks, Boo.
I want to talk about success because I think people maybe are coming to you or just in life. Like, what does success look like?
Everything about this question, yes. Because success to an American may look like, for most, the white picket fence, the mansion, the lake house, the boat, the car, the vacations, the wine, the trip, blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. And hell yeah, that's all great. I want it too. Wonderful. The first question that I ask people, right, if you're unhappy with your career, well, what does a happy career look like? What does a happy life look like? What does your ideal day look like? Mm-hmm. When you are waking up on a Monday, what would you want your day to look like? Right? Because I was the Sunday scaries girl, like dread, pit in my stomach, anxiety, crying. Oh my God.
Yes.
Success to some people may be living in a nice small house in a remote location, and you have your kids and your dogs, and you work 3 hours a day, or you're an author, right? Like, define it for yourself and then work towards that. But why are we chasing after this dream that like America or society put on us? Not everybody wants that stuff. So decide what success looks like to you. Would you agree?
Oh, for sure. I saw this thing and said like Jeff Bezos still has to brush his teeth in the morning.
Yes.
It's like, yes, he still has to go about his day. He still has to live with himself.
And how many people do you know that have so much money and are miserable, or have so much money and are great stewards with their money, just wonderful people, live in the joy? There are maybe people who don't have a lot of money who are extremely happy. You get to decide. And I think we always talk about, what do you want to do, right? What do you want to do, career? How do you want to be? We are human beings, and we rarely pause to ask ourselves, how do I want to be when I show up to that event? What do I want to radiate, right? I think the best compliment you can give or get is, I love your energy. It's like you can't even name what you love about the person. Because listen, I don't care where you went to college. I don't care how much money you make. How do you create space for others? I mean, that's what we're here for.
Yes. How do you show up in the world?
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And you can tell if you are focusing on problems and your lack, things you don't have, right? And fear, and I'm lost, and woe is me, right? You will continue to attract more of that into your life. And if you choose to believe that you can be expansive and you're going to create amazing wealth and you're going to give back to others, right? Then you will attract more of that into your life. And I think one mindset shift that was helpful for me is understanding that wealth and success can be different things. Wealth and rich can mean different things. And the original term of the word wealth means well-being and happiness. So hell yeah, I want to be wealthy.
Yes.
Right? And why do people have such a problem saying, I want to be wealthy? We don't mind saying, I want to be healthy. Oh my God, Laura, I want to work out better. I want to eat better, right? I want to be healthy. You'd be like, yeah, go get it. But if I was to say, I want to be freaking wealthy, we're like, oh God, what's wrong with her? Why would she say that out loud? No, you should. I want that for you. You should want that for me. There's more than enough to go around. So you got to, again, change your mindset. It's not all about money, but like, how wealthy are you being?
I think a common mindset that people get trapped in is the victim mindset.
Yes.
Especially in your career. I did this all the time. I was constantly complaining about my boss, about my colleagues. I was basically like, no, I am right. And all of these people are fucking me over.
Yes.
Constantly.
Yes. Yes.
And I was miserable. Miserable.
Right? Because you were attracting more victim mindset
I was
into your life.
My poor neighbors. Just like I think about it, I used to sit on the stoop with Allie and Wes and just complain for hours. They probably were just like, oh my gosh, girl,
God,
get another job.
I love it. I love it. Well, and that's the thing. It's like, if you want to change, then either make the change or stop complaining.
Yes.
And that's where, as a coach, I it's a safe space, and
yes,
but also I want to get you to stretch and expand. And if that means moving, right, and shutting down the victim mentality, then like I have no problem with a little tough love.
Woo-woo can be kind of like a side hustle. Like you can be like, ooh, let's go to a medium or let's do a past life regression. But when you really pair your life with the power of the unseen is when all the doors seem to open.
It's the surrendering to the unknown. It's the trusting that no matter what, you are in the right place. It happened to you for a reason. This is for your highest timeline, right? Every traumatic experience, every failure, every success, right? It's all a part of it. And what the universe, your higher power, wants for you is to just be deeply present in every moment. Be engaged with where you're at. Because we're so often looking into the past or looking into the future, and we're worrying about things that are rarely even going to happen. And that was me. I mean, right?
We're totally out of our control.
Yeah, but and once you really accept that, and that's why I love the word surrender. It's like, just take over and remind me that it's all going to be certain. It's all going to be for me in the right timeline. And and trusting.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into Kabbalah?
I have been listening to David Guillaume and another woman, Kathy Heller, who have been studying Kabbalah, and just the teachings have just resonated with me. I don't know what it is, but it's another nudge. It's another whisper where I'm like, oh yeah, go this way. Go, it's over here. And everything they're saying, it relates back to Kabbalah. And I'm like, great, I guess that's the next step, the next thing to learn.
Have you been studying online, or is there a place you're going to?
It's podcasts right now.
Okay.
But yeah, his website is Infinite Soul, and there is like a 3-hour training that I do want to do.
I really wanted to go in person, but the Kabbalah Center is like in New York City.
Oh, really?
It's like where Madonna went. But Madonna like made this popular a long time ago, but it's so interesting because here you can only do it at like a temple, like a Jewish temple.
Oh.
At least that's all I found. I don't know whether there's more. I guess I really haven't done a huge deep dive, but
Well, we could go to New York.
I know. Should we go to New York?
Yeah, let's go to New York. Man, it's done. Oh my God, it's already done. That's the other thing. It's like believing that it's already done.
Yeah.
And just in the car the last few days before meeting with you, it was like this, like, I came across his podcast and this episode of Kathy Heller, and I'm like, it's Kabbalah, to be a receiver, to be wholeness. We are some of the one.
Yeah.
Like, and it just
It's like
resonates
a whole new
with
lens.
me.
Yeah.
Whole new lens, whole new perspective.
Yeah, I love it so much. I love you so much. We're going
Love
to New York.
you, sister. Yay.
We'll go to New York. We'll see Evan.
Yeah. Oh my God. We'll
We'll
see
go see a
Evan.
show.
We'll see shows.
We'll do some
meet your
Kabbalah
friends.
classes.
Hey, we'll soak it all up. Oh my God. I love it.
Thank you so much for coming on the Woo Report.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. For way more woo-woo, please follow and subscribe to the Woo Report podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you love to listen. Never miss an episode of the Woo Report by joining the community at thewooreportpodcast.com. Thank you for liking, sharing, rating, and loving on this little slice of magic. I am so, so grateful you are here. Bye.